Are there any other protocols that you've applied in your own life, perhaps, as you've learned more about breathing and its impact on our health and life?
Yeah, we did. We did some years ago a study in France when I still was a PhD student at the University of Pisa about a Nidra yoga retreat, so a Nidra yoga protocol, which was taught by a really expert master yogi called André Riel in France. And so we basically went there with one colleague of mine with the EEG, and we stayed together with them for one week long retreat period. And we measured their brain activity and also their state of consciousness in these very long Nidra yoga sessions, which are performed in supine position. So it's like people go to sleep in that position, but instead they maintain um, kind of awareness of their sleep. So Nidra yoga is also called the yoga of sleep or the yoga of dreams. And it is a very deep meditative state of consciousness, which is very interesting, and which I also practiced myself quite often at home, but also in that situation. And if you ask the participants of this specific form of yoga, they often tell you that their deepest state of consciousness, their unified state of consciousness, also called non-dual awareness states, is very highly related to periods of spontaneous apneas. So a period of the cessation of breathing at all. So the breath just stops for some seconds spontaneously without any effort. And in those seconds, they perceive like a non-dual state of awareness or like pure consciousness state. Yeah, consciousness without an object, just consciousness. And that is really, really interesting. And I think it should be studied more, that specific state of consciousness. But there is very few literature on Nidra Yoga, especially so deep form of Nidra.
Yeah. At least seems like Huberman has been talking about this NSDR, non-sleep deep rest, which is based on Nidra, and hopefully there'll be more studies on that, at least one form of it, of subform.
One very interesting question that we are now asking, and it's a study that we are now performing, is the relationship between breathing and the first person experience in meditation. So we know that um, there is a lot of literature on trying to develop also not new methods to assess uh, to assess respiratory related brain activity. So how the frequency, and specifically how the phase of breath is related to the phase or amplitude of certain brain signals and specific brain areas. This has been done at rest. This has been done during specific exteroceptive tasks, but this has never been done during meditation. So if we really wanna, in my opinion, if we really we want to say that meditation is able to increase the link between the brain and breathing. So I think we need to start to develop some methodologies to assess uh, breathing related brain activity and how they change in meditation and how they are related to non-ordinary states of consciousness in participants. So that's what we are now trying to do in our latest research.